Someone with obsessive-compulsive personality disorder, or OCPD, is defined by strict orderliness, control, and perfectionism. But wait, isn't that OCD? In this video, we're going to go through the 4 main characteristics of OCPD and how it's different than OCD. And thank you as always to No OCD for sponsoring this video. No OCD offers affordable, effective, convenient therapy available in the US and outside of the US. To find out more about No OCD, their therapy plans, and to see if they currently take your insurance, head over to www.nocd.com. Someone with OCPD will likely try to stay in charge of the smallest details of their life, even if it closes them off to new experiences. Unlike OCD, OCPD is a personality disorder, which means it involves traits that are in some way problematic, out of the ordinary, with long-held beliefs about something. Often, these individuals may find it difficult to relate with others. Due to their devotion, their rigid rules, and their control, it's almost as if their rule they've created is fact. It is correct. It is the only way. There is no other way things need to be done. It makes perfect sense to the individual. They can get often frustrated when others don't understand their factual rules that they've created. It seems so obvious that this is the way it is supposed to be. And how do you not understand it? Here are 4 ways you can tell if you have OCPD. Number 1, your rigid adherence to rules and regulations. You may be inflexible. It is the way it is supposed to be. You may be creating order, lists, tasks to help you with these rules. This may be excessive to create and pay attention to these minor details, even if emotions have regulations on them. The way you act may need to be in a certain way. Even facial expressions, or even the words that come out of your mouth. Individuals can find themselves devoted to their work and their tasks at the expense of their family, at the expense of their friends. Number 2, an overwhelming need for order. This excessive devotion often impairs the social and family activities. The individual may find it difficult to assign tasks to somebody else because they know it needs to be a certain way and you're not going to do it that way. You may be unwilling to change or be flexible with the way that you were thinking. This is how things are done. The need for perfection is at the smallest detail. Relationships can be strained due to this desire to have things be a certain way. The lack of flexibility is the key here. The individual may believe that whatever they are doing, whatever the order is exactly the way it needs to be. Are you kind of finding a pattern here? Number 3, unwillingness to yield or give responsibilities to others. With this rigidness, an individual may feel completely overwhelmed with their tasks. It needs to be a certain way. It cannot be shared. They cannot share this with somebody else. So it's all on them. It's a burden sometimes to do all these things, but it needs to be done. No one else can do it because they're going to ruin it. The individual may spend time teaching others these rules, but it ends up causing arguments, fights, disagreements. Number 4, a sense of righteousness about the way things should be done. Not could be done, should be done. You know that feeling of doing the right thing, whether it is spiritual or making a moral right choice? This feeling matches those who have OCPD. The way things need to be done according to their rule book. They get a feeling of, whew, good job, man. You did it. Feel good about the things you are doing, even at the expense of others. This rigidity is not only with the things they may do around the house, but with their morals, ethics, and their values. Here is the biggest key to look at. You may think, wow, with all these rules, inflexibility, and devotion, it seems like they would live a miserable life, right? No. Actually, the person does not have a problem with the thought. Sometimes they don't have a problem with the behaviors they have to do because of the thoughts. Instead, They may find comfort in their thoughts and believe that they're acting accordingly to what is correct. Typically, an individual with OCPD does not seek treatment because they do not see a problem with what they are doing. Here is the conflict, however. An individual who has OCPD can appear extremely critical and unyielding. This causes problems in relationships, with friends, with family. It can even affect their job, the place that they work. Somebody without OCPD may like things a certain way. They do it the way they want, but they are willing to change and adapt depending on the circumstance. They understand that there is not just one way of doing things. They may not like this change, but are willing to do it. They can be flexible. Remember OCD? They sound pretty similar, right? Well, here's your big indication of the difference between the two. People with OCD have insight, meaning they are aware of their unwanted thoughts, and they know that they are often unreasonable. People with OCPD think that their way is right and it's the best way things need to be done. They usually feel comfortable with these thoughts, with the systems that they've created. Those who have OCD don't like the thoughts. They don't like the behaviors, the actions. Those who have OCPD do. They may even enjoy the way that things are. So then what is the treatment? What works for OCPD? Typically, people with OCPD don't believe they require treatment. They believe that everyone else needs to conform to their strict rules. If they did, things would be fine. But there are some that are willing to do this treatment because they know it's at a risk of their relationship, of their job, sometimes life. Individuals may start doing cognitive behavioral therapy to improve their insight and challenge their rigid rules and expectations. They learn to better value their close relationships, hopefully to become more flexible. They may challenge these by feeling uncomfortable, not performing their wanted tasks or following their rules. Some also practice relaxation techniques to help with this urgency and the stress related to these following rules. So one, OCPD is a personality disorder. The other, OCD, is not. Part of this person's personality, the way things need to be done, and that's how it's going to be. It doesn't bother them. That's how it is. With OCD, they might have similar thoughts. You need to do this. You need to avoid these fears, whatever it is. But they want to change it. They want to fix it. They want things to be different because they don't want that anxiety. Do you relate to either OCD or OCPD? Let me know in the comments below. And do you know what will power you up? Subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. And the rigid rules to control. I'm struggling, man. Number 2, an overwhelmingly, okay. It can affect their employment. Employment? Is that a word? Employment. Some OSCO